here is Tom Ackerman.
So much to do today. We have so much sports to cover. Last night was amazing. Today's going to be a great day. Glad you're with us. Sports on a Sunday morning, as always. The St. Louis tradition covers it all. No program has run longer than this one, and Sports on a Sunday morning tradition is to break this thing down. So let's get right to it. And the lead story today, although we carry the Cardinals on KMOX, and we will have a doubleheader today, the Cardinals at 12:35 and 6:10. I would not be doing it justice. I would be doing it I would be doing it wrong if I didn't lead with the St. Louis Blues. They are unbelievable. They were in the A block of SportsCenter this morning. I mean, even ESPN is on board with the Blues winning a dozen in a row. The Blues have set a franchise record, and let's listen in, because while the focus will be on the Blues giving up 3 goals late and then eventually a fourth and winning that game 5-4, this game was about how they started. And, oh, did they start great. Take a listen. FanDuel Sports Network Midwest.
Robert Thomas, who had the winner on the power play the other night against Pittsburgh. Now Mozeliak with it. To the back for Fowler. Fowler again. Far side Thomas. In the slot, Bolduc shoots. He scores! Bolduc! A bomb! A power play goal! 1-0 Blues!
Beautifully executed play. Watch this. Moving the puck around. Look how aggressive they get at the top. Then they move it back. They get aggressive. That leaves Zach Bolduc.
For Stuggaroo on the give and go.
So take a listen to this. Blues are putting heat on them here. They don't score, but they're putting heat on.
By Falk, shoots it, rebound. Mozeliak robbed by Blackwood with a good pad save.
Not much there, but again, the Thomas line getting another offensive chance. Pavel Buchnevich taking away the goalie's eyes and then almost getting that rebound.
Habs play it off the glass, not out, kept in. Neighbors charges in. Shovel shot, saved by Blackwood. And now Neighbors to the corner. Shin pinned, but Thomas there, right in front, backhander. They score! Jake Neighbors has made it 2-0 St. Louis.
John Kelly, Jamie Rivers with the call on FanDuel Sports Network Midwest. The Blues put it on the Avs in the first period. Neighbors spinning around on that goal after he scores it. His 22nd of the year. Bolduc, his 17th of the year, 49 seconds in. That's how you get the crowd riled up, and that's how you put the gas pedal down, especially against a Colorado team that we know has tons of skill, as they would show later. Pavel Buchnevich scored in the second period early again. Blues come out of the gate, put their foot down, and score again, and then Bolduc with a sensational power play goal, his 18th of the year, to make it 4-0 St. Louis. The Avs are super talented, and they will show that in the playoffs. They will be tough to knock out. Ross Colton, Miles Wood, they scored just 2 minutes apart in the second period to make it 4-2. Then Nathan MacKinnon does what he's done for years against the Blues. He scores his 32nd of the year at 17:42, but it's just a little too late. Robert Thomas with the empty netter to make it 5-3, and although Sam Malinsky with a miracle goal with 9 seconds to go makes it 5-4, that was enough for the Blues to win 5-4. The Blues are getting these games done by not playing dominant necessarily for 60, but dominant for periods. And the beginning of that game was absolutely their dominant period, and the beginning of the second period when they go up 4-0. The Blues typically have been a third period team. This time they step on the gas early. They only had 21 shots on goal. Blackwood saved 4 of them. He ends up with 17 saves. Jordan Binnington was a busy man last night. 35 saves for Benner. He now has won 10 in a row at home, and that is a mark for a Blues goaltender. The Blues have won 12 in a row. That is a franchise mark. In fact, that's the longest streak in the NHL this season, and the Blues pull off a terrific victory. Speaking of pulling off great victories, first of all, Florida comes back and beats Auburn 79-73. Great win for the Gators. They are a super talented, explosive team that proved to be the best team in the SEC. Even though Auburn was the best from wire to wire, Florida, a lot of people talked about them. I did not buy in right away on Florida. I was proven wrong on that. Florida makes it to the national championship game. The team that I liked yesterday ended up pulling it off, and I just still can't believe it. After all of that, they're down 14 in the second half to Duke. But Kelvin Sampson's team refused to quit. Sampson had a great line after the game. He said, "You will never lose in life if you don't quit." And if you really think about that, it's a great line. That's what he tells his players, and that's what they did. They refused to lose, and at the same time, Duke with a monumental collapse. It's not the worst Duke loss in Final Four history, but it's pretty close. Duke up 14. They blow it. Houston gets, yes, a phantom call on Cooper Flag over the back, but you can't let officials determine the game at that point. You cannot go 10 and a half minutes and score one field goal. And that's what Duke did against Houston. Their signature suffocating defense got the job done, and this is how it sounded at the end on Westwood One.
Pryor's second free throw is good. 3-point game, 70-69. Houston by 3. 3.7 to go. Everybody runs down the floor. James, long pass down the floor. Cryer tips it. Loose. Knipple has it. Throws to Proctor. Heaves up a 3. No good. Houston from behind. 14 down to the national championship game. And for the first time since 1984, Houston will play for a men's basketball national championship. It's Houston and Florida in San Antonio on Monday night.
That's Kevin Kugler with a great call on Westwood One, and Houston has never won a national championship. They go for it tomorrow against Florida, and Duke misses a chance to get to a championship. They have not been to a national championship in 10 years, and their fans are agonizing over that. Well, cry me a river. Okay. Mizzou's never been to a Final Four. Illinois has never won a championship. SLU would die to get not only to the NCAA tournament, let alone a Sweet 16. So Duke loses this thing, and they blew it. I mean, John Shire had to have a better plan than that, as they just couldn't inbound the ball. They couldn't get offense going, and Houston just got the job done. And great job by Kelvin Sampson. I'm happy for him, and we'll see what Houston does against Florida. Old school against new school. Todd Golden, good one for Florida, their coach, no doubt about it. We'll get into a lot of stuff here on Sports on a Sunday morning. Cardinals, as I mentioned, doubleheader. Palante in game 1, Michaelis in game 2. They were rained out yesterday. City, very disappointing. They lose to Sporting KC after dominating a good portion of the game. They still can't score. They lose 2-0 to Sporting KC. Lutz Fantasy will be with us at 11:15 to talk about that. John Mozeliak after him at 11:25. Bernie Miklasz at 11:05. We'll go back into the Blues. We got Sean Kelly, the voice of the Florida Gators, on the show today. But coming up next, after all of that said, we've got women's national championship today, UConn against South Carolina, men's tomorrow, baseball, hockey, right down the line. Battlehawks playing tonight at home at the Dome, home opener against San Antonio. Guess what starts this week? The Masters on CBS. And we're going to hear from Dan Reardon, who will be heading to Augusta, and he's excited about it. I would be too. He's going to join us next, Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX. Big show today. Don't go anywhere from the Stiefel Sports Studio.
104.1 FM, KMOX. News, talk, sports.
When you've been hurt in an accident, you need a law firm that wins. Onder wins. For over 100 years, Onder Law has been winning for St. Louis. With over $5 billion in negotiated settlements and over $300 million in verdicts, Onder wins. Voted best law firm by STL Today 2 years in a row, Onder wins. Whether it's settlements, verdicts, or awards, Onder wins. If you've been hurt in a car accident, trucking accident, or hurt on the job, Onder Law will get you the money you deserve. At Onder Law, winning is what we do. So when the stakes are high, Onder wins. Call us today for a free consultation. We don't get paid unless we win for you. Dial 314 or 6189-million. That's 314 or 6189, then all zeros. Or visit us online at onderwins.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-515-1865. 800-515-1865. 800-515-1865.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Great to be with you. Our producer is Matthew Rocchio. Always great to see him. Passionate sports personality, and great to have him in studio with me. We're here until 11:40 when I will take over Cardinals pregame today with a doubleheader. We have John Mozeliak on the show, Lutz Vandensteel, Bernie Miklasz, Sean Kelly, the voice of the Florida Gators. So much to get to. Umsel Sports Hall of Famer Ron Edgar is going to pop on the show, but right now it is time. I just had somebody comment on Twitter, Dan Reardon, our KMOX senior golf editor. He said, you know it's spring when Dan Reardon is bringing the Masters details, and I can't agree more. How are you, Dan?
I'm fine, and I will admit I've been doing it a long time, and about this time I get very excited about getting a chance to go back and cover that event.
It is a lot of fun, isn't it? Take me, and I've never been, and it's my bucket list, and I will do it. I had one opportunity a while back to spend some time there, and I wasn't able to make it, but I will do it. Can you please explain to me what it is like to set foot on the grounds for the first time each time?
I've had that question thrown at me a number of times, and I can tell you what's unique from my perspective on the Masters. From the moment I drive through the gate on this case Thursday morning until I leave on Sunday night, I never have a moment that I don't feel that I'm being treated like somebody special. And I think that everybody who attends the Masters has that same feeling. And I'm talking about the gate attendant. I'm talking about the crossing guards. I'm talking about the people on the course. I'm talking about the people in the golf shop. I'm talking about the players. It's a unique place in time and in the world that seems to be preserved at least until now.
It's very well said, and there's so much history, and the players feel it, and it doesn't matter how much you've accomplished. Winning the Masters is something that everybody seeks. Of course, with Green Jacket already in hand, you want another one and another one, another one. It was one of the great sporting events our country has. And, you look at this thing, I think it's Scotty Scheffler's tournament to win. I mean, unless somebody can challenge him, I handicap that for me, if you would. Scheffler, and then the rest of the field.
I think the current thinking is it's a two-man chase in that Rory McIlroy, who has this as the missing part of his career resume, has played so extremely well this year and appears to have borrowed from Scheffler an attitude about course management that has paid dividends this year. And in terms of raw ability, I actually think Rory is more skilled than Scotty. But in terms of the Masters, Scheffler has won 2 of the last 3, won it last year in sort of runaway form, and really had, got a late start because of the injury and had not played exceedingly well this year. But then 2 weeks ago in Texas, he threw a couple of low rounds in the 60s at the field, didn't win. But I think those are the 2 names you have to watch, are Scheffler and McIlroy. And I think that's where all the attention will be from the galleries. And then throw in, Tom, and this is very, very important, the weather. Tomorrow they're supposed to get 1.5 inches of rain for the first day of Masters Week. They'll get another smattering of rain on Friday. The overnight temperatures are supposed to be in the 40s. The midday temperatures are supposed to be in the 60s. So there will be a minimum amount of drying out at that golf course. And I think a wet, soft Augusta National brings a lot of players into the chase.
That's so well said. And I love your description of McIlroy, course management. Our great friend Dale Boggs taught me that lesson a long time ago. I remember I was playing with him at St. Albans, and I'm about 270 out. And I pull out a 3-wood, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got all I got, right? 3-wood. He's like, can you get it there? I said, no. So what are you doing? I mean, hit the ball, put it in position for your next shot. Don't try to be a hero. And so I did, and I changed my whole perspective on golf. And I've been watching Rory on Full Swing. The Netflix series is so good. I'm hoping that he's over the collapse from the U.S. Open with DeChambeau. I see a different Rory on that show. That's my hope anyway. But that's significant, isn't it, the way things fell apart against Bryson?
Oh, absolutely. And more important, I think, is that he recognized afterwards the mistake he made. And I faulted his caddy at the time because he spent the entire back 9 looking over his shoulder, watching Bryson play the golf course behind him. And you can't play golf paying attention to somebody else. And I think that he learned that lesson, and he's shown that lesson so far this year. The other thing I talk about management, Scotty's success over the last couple of years has taught that lesson to a number of players. I can't tell you the number of interviews I've read of players this year who have talked about they watch what Scheffler has done over the last couple of years, and they've changed the way they play the championship. Not this championship, every championship. It would be interesting to see if he was younger, if Phil Mickelson would have learned the lesson of course management. Of course, Phil never thought of course management as part of his personality.
No, that is true. I'll give you another name that I'll be possibly picking to win this is Ludwig Åberg. He is like a robot to me. I mean, he is unbelievable. I think he's a phenomenal talent. What do you think about Åberg?
Well, I finished second last year, so that puts him in good stead. And I mean, he was three shots clear of third place. He's had a sort of unusual kind of year where he's played extremely well. He's won, and he's played sort of poorly. I don't know how much, the trick to winning the Masters is generally have a lot of Masters in your background. You learn how to play that course, and once you learn how to play that course, you continue to play that course. Bernhard Langer is going to play his last Masters this year, and Langer remained a factor in that championship well into his 50s because he knew how to play Augusta National. So Åberg is an interesting choice. I'll give you another name to look at, and then I'll shoot it down at the same time. A guy that finished sixth last year was Bryson DeChambeau, and that was a different Bryson DeChambeau. That was a better person and a better player than the guy that said early in his career that par 68 was what Augusta National was for him. So DeChambeau is somebody I think you should watch. Having said that, in his last 4 Masters, he's only cracked 70 2 times. One last year when he shot 65 on the opening day.
That's a good one. That's a very good one, without a doubt. Anything else that you're going to be locked in on here, Dan? Storylines that you'll be following at the Masters?
Well, it'll look like a different golf course because Hurricane Helene took out a lot of trees, and people will see at 16 in particular that the trees behind the green at 16 are very much thinner. Now, that would be a factor if it was at 12. At 16, the wind is not so much of an issue. But if you did get a windy day, you will find this golf course will play a little bit different because the wind coming through those pines will be much, much different than it has been in other years. And one other quick point, and this goes back to yesterday, in 1951, Earl Woods became the first player of color to play in the Big Eight when he played for Kansas State as a catcher. And then his son, of course, won the Masters and changed the world forever in 1997. Well, yesterday, the woman who won the event at Augusta National, the Augusta National Women's Amateur, she happened to play golf at Kansas State. What a nice sort of circle there from Earl to Carla Bernay Ecuder, all Kansas State connections.
Life is amazing, isn't it? Wow. That is pretty neat. Dan, continued great work down there. We can't wait to hear your reports and analysis from the Masters. KMOX has been credentialed at the Masters for decades, thanks to Dan Reardon's outstanding work. Dan, thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Enjoy the time, Tom.
Thank you. Dan Reardon, our senior golf editor. Yes, indeed, it is golf season, and Dan joining us this year from Augusta. When we come back, we'll talk a little baseball, some basketball with the voice of the Florida Gators, Sean Kelly, and yes, we'll get back into the Blues, who have won 12 in a row. 11 o'clock hour, Bernie Miklasz, Lutz Pfannenstiel, John Mozeliak. Don't forget 11:40 pregame this morning for game 1 of this doubleheader. You're listening to Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stifel Sports Studio.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelley.com. Give him a call even though it's late, JerryKelley.com. Cause Jerry Kelly's always open up until 8. That's certified technicians, I've been told. Will help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold. JerryKelley.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelley.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Now's the time to move to Cotterville Trails and save big. We have 7 move-in ready market homes with savings of up to $70,748 available, including our brand new Madison 2, McKinley, and Jefferson models. Or save $18,980 on a to-be-built home from our popular Liberty series. In addition, you will also receive a closing credit of up to $7,500. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
KMOX Weekend at your service, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
At California Psychics, we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats? Well, the joy of early bedtimes. And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty California Psychics.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate, paid for by Bayer.
Make reservations for the 2025 Women of Achievement Luncheon, presented by KMOX. This award luncheon takes place Tuesday, May 13th at the Ritz-Carlton, St. Louis, and celebrates 10 outstanding volunteers from across the St. Louis metropolitan region. Doors open at 11:15. The luncheon runs until 1:30. Reservations are $60 per person. Sign up and find more details now at KMOX.com/events.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Great to be back with you. The Cardinals have just announced that Gordon Graceffo has been appointed as their 27th player. You are able to add a 27th player to the roster when you have a doubleheader, and that's what they have done. So Graceffo providing them some depth at right-handed relief, as he will be part of both games. He'll be available for today's doubleheader. Earlier today, the Blues brought up Dalibor Dvorsky. He has been recalled from Springfield, 19-year-old Dvorsky. Boy, they got some young players, don't they? Dvorsky and Jimmy Snuggerud, who they really like. And unfortunately, Dylan Holloway's out for a while. When they say week to week, that's not good. Day to day is ominous enough. Week to week kind of lets you know that lower body injury is going to keep him out for a little while. Sean Kelly, voice of the Florida Gators, joining us in just a few minutes. But right now, I want to bring in UMSL Sports Hall of Famer Ron Edgar, because he has a big event coming back to St. Louis. Every year they do it. Ron, it's great to have you back on KMOX. How are you?
Good, Tom. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thursday, April 24th at the Sheraton Westport Chalet Hotel is the St. Louis Amateur Baseball Hall of Fame banquet. And I know you've got a good one lined up. I have been part of that in the past. I was blessed to have been honored at that one year, and I really like your group of people. Tell us about what's happening on Thursday, April 24th.
Well, it's our 51st, and I repeat, 51st anniversary class of 2025. And we have 16 people going in, which includes 11 players, 2 coaches, and 3 contributors. We also give out a Rising Star Award, which is pretty special that night. That's outstanding high school player in the area. And there are 5 nominees. So we'll do that, as well as we have some St. Louis Amateur Baseball Hall of Fame award, special award, the Bob Burns Award, which is being given to Bernard Gilkey, who will be there, and the Bob Bragg Award, recipient of longtime coaching in amateur ball, which will be given to Rich Sturm Sr., and then the Jack Buck Award recipient, which you know something about that, is being given to Randy Carricker. And finally, the Kim Tucci Award, which it's a legacy award, is being given to the St. Louis Metro Collegiate Baseball League, and Bob Tortier and Ozzie Smith will be there to accept the award for that group.
Well, you got some heavy hitters there. Ozzie Smith, Randy Carricker, Bernard Gilkey, and all of those great people that make up the St. Louis Amateur Baseball Hall of Fame. That is a great lineup. Gilkey, the U-City native, a wonderful recipient there of the Bob Burns Award. I saw Gilkey down in spring training working with the Cardinals. He continues to be part of their development. Randy Carricker, I mean, what more can you say about Randy, who I learned so much from? And so to be able to see him get the Jack Buck Award is very special. He was very, very close with Mr. Buck. And, of course, Ozzie Smith can't get bigger than that, accepting an award on behalf of the St. Louis Metro Collegians League. So very well done, Ron. How can people get tickets? Are you sold out for that yet?
We are sold out.
Wow. I would be too.
Yeah, we are sold out. We've got 500 plus coming. And as you know, it's the most well-attended awards banquet every year for the last, 51 years. And it's really a popular event.
Well, I don't want to break your deal with the Sheraton Westport Chalet because I've done millions of events there, it seems like, through the years. But it sounds like you may be in the bidding for a new venue. I mean, you're packing that place, man.
Well, we can hold a little more than that. Over the years, we've kind of reduced our class size. You know, in the years past, we would do more. Now we're restricting it to like 15 people going in, and that keeps our numbers down. And if we do the 500 area, that number, we're in good shape. And Sheraton does such a great job for us. And as you well know, you've been there before.
I have, yeah.
Now there is, if a person wants to check on some last-minute tickets, if there's a cancellation or whatever, they can go to an email, if I can give that to you.
Sure.
It's stl.abhof@gmail.com. So that's St. Louis Amateur Baseball Hall of Fame @gmail.com, and you can inquire there. It doesn't look like it now, but just in case, you know, if a person wants to kind of see what the possibility is, go for it there. But we're happy whenever we're basically sold out. So that's a good deal.
Greater St. Louis Amateur Baseball Hall of Fame chairman of the board of directors is Ron Edgar. Thanks so much for being with us, Ron.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You got it. And you can learn more at stlabhof.com. That's a really neat organization, keeping baseball going as strong as it is here in St. Louis. Here's a guy who knows all about baseball and football and basketball because he's at a school right now that is rocking and rolling. That is a fun program right now. This Florida basketball team joining us is the voice of the Florida Gators. Sean Kelly is on KMOX. How are you, Sean?
I'm doing great, Tom. Let me just start by saying, let's go Blues, and then we can talk about the Gators.
Yeah, man, 12 in a row, baby. And I'll tell you what, it's great hearing your voice back on KMOX. This is not your first time, not your first rodeo. You and I used to do Mizzou broadcasts together back in the day on KMOX and various affiliates throughout the country. It's been fun to watch you make the run that you have made, Sean.
Thanks, Tom. It means we're old, I guess. I don't know. It's fun to think back. Obviously, those ties to my hometown in St. Louis, and of course, you and I with Missouri and KMOX too, where, you know, frankly, I still to this day owe Randy Carricker and Mike Kelly and Ron Jacobra a huge debt of gratitude for kind of being an unofficial intern back at the old location many, many years ago.
Well,
so, great to be back with you.
It's great, and you're a KMOXer for life, that's for sure. Sean, this team is special. I know that you know that, and you've been around them. What makes them go? As you beat Auburn yesterday, came back and got it done. Auburn had the lead early, and they're tough, as we know, even when they're banged up. 79-73, the Gators get the job done.
Remarkable, Tom. I mean, this Gators team is a group that basically said back in the fall that their goal was to win the whole thing. And look, I hear that from a lot of teams, and that's been the case so many times over the years. And you take that for what it is, but they've had the same mindset, that same goal throughout. They practiced the same way here in April that they did in October. They have the right mix of guys, and they're all these guys that were either unheralded out of high school or got into the transfer portal and made the move from, you know, mid-major to the Power Four. It's a head coach who was a former walk-on as a player, and he beats his mentor yesterday in Bruce Pearl. for the second time this year. Both were in comeback fashion. And Florida's just shown that they have the ability to win in a number of different ways. And so when you combine that versatility, the depth they have, the love they have for each other, and the way they go about their work, you have a championship caliber team. And they flew under the radar, Tom, for quite some time, but eventually enough wins and enough quality wins, burst them onto the national scene, and they've kind of handled it very well. And it hasn't been the cleanest run through the tournament, but like you said, whether it was coming back to beat an Auburn team in the Final Four or coming back from down 9 with 3:15 to go in the Elite Eight against Texas Tech, or blowing out Maryland like they've done a number of teams this year, they just find a way, and they've been a great second half team here in the tournament, and now they've got their hands full very much with the Houston Cougars on Monday night.
Yes, they do, and we'll talk about them in just a second. I got to say, Walter Clayton Jr., you need a player. If you want to win it all, you need somebody to carry you. You really do. It's been proven through the years that a star that you want the ball in his hands, and Walter Clayton Jr., 34 points. He hits all of his free throws. He's 5 of 8 from 3. A remarkable talent, really. When it gets down to it, who do you want with the game on the line? He has not flinched.
He has not. I mean, last night was his third 30-point tournament game of his career. One last year, twice now this year. Tom, Walter Clayton Jr., has put together maybe the greatest single season in Florida Gators basketball history, which is saying something when you think of Chandler Parsons and Al Horford and Udonis Haslem, and then I can keep going down the list, but he's the first ever first-team All-American out of that program's history. He's put together the highest-scoring season now in program history, all those things, and he's cold-blooded in a lot of ways. And at the beginning of the year, and I do a lot of NBA work, I was asked if he could be a draft guy. And I thought, nice player, does a lot of nice things. He's probably on the fringe of that. And he has vaulted himself now probably into not maybe just a lottery pick, but a top 10 or top 5 pick this summer in the NBA draft. He's made himself a lot of money, but he sure made a lot of Florida fans happy as well. And his teammates love him. And it's all about team for him, which is refreshing in this day and age. He's a remarkable talent. And again, just like last night, he'll hit you with the normal looking scoring opportunity or the most improbable. And one of them happened right in front of me, on that elevated floor here in San Antonio last night. And I almost didn't have words to describe the shot.
I bet. I mean, I can't even imagine being in your shoes right now. It's just incredible. This is Sean Kelley, the voice of the Florida Gators, with us on KMOX, and he's done so much national radio, and he's been a big part of, down in New Orleans with the Pelicans, and it has been a fun ride for Sean Kelley now with the Florida Gators. And now, like you said, you're going to be up against it tomorrow. This Houston Cougars team is the real deal. Now, if you described yesterday as an amazing Houston comeback, you'd be correct. If you said that it was a monumental collapse by Duke, you'd also be correct. If you said that the officials made a marginal call at best on an over-the-back on Cooper Flagg, you'd be correct. But guess what? What you cannot deny, Sean, is that this Houston team refuses to quit. They are something else.
Yeah, both of these teams only have 4 losses on the season. Kelvin Sampson's sitting on 799 wins now after last night. He knows what he's doing. And he's got a kind of an undersized group, Tom, that never, ever goes away. They're relentless. Defense is their hallmark. You better be ready to rebound the basketball when you play those guys because they're going after everything, much like Florida. And they have just enough firepower to hit some key shots, as they did as well last night. One thing about this Final Four, Tom, is that I think people were upset about it being chalk and only the second time ever that all 4 number ones made it. I just knew going in that each one of the 4 teams that were left were very capable of cutting down the nets on Monday night. And so whether it was Duke that Florida was going to see or Houston, or even if Florida had lost to Auburn last night, none of it would have surprised me. Nothing will surprise me on Monday night. But I think that college basketball fans are in for a great championship game at whatever time. I don't even know what time the game is tomorrow night. I'm so confused on East Coast time and Central time. It's sometime tomorrow night. I'll be there whenever they tell me to be there.
I'll give it to you. Tomorrow is a 7:50 tip. I was going to say 8, but they say 7:50. Now we'll see with TV if that ends up being the case. But that is the official tip time, Central time down in Florida. One last thing before we go. Tell me something maybe we don't know about Todd Golden, your head coach, who Of course, as you mentioned, worked for Bruce Pearl, who has risen through the ranks from San Francisco now to Gainesville.
Getting to know Brad Stevens a little bit over my years in the NBA. When I first met Golden, I kind of compared him to a young Brad Stevens. So that's kind of the foundation or the base point that I start to talk about him. And then I go into the way that he's evolved in just a couple of different ways. One is elite talent evaluator, and that has carried over into building the right kind of roster that fits the culture that he wants in his program. He's proven to be an outstanding in-game adjuster. And I think that's part of the reason why they've been so successful in some of these comeback wins, or their ability to put teams away seemingly moments into the second half. And he is not only just a great tactician, but also seems to rotate his players properly and has no drama and no friction, whether it be in his coaching staff or his roster, because of the way that he goes about his work. What he wants them to do, he's willing to do himself. And his ability in his late 30s to very much identify with this generation of players is remarkable. So all that being said, I love being around the guy. We share a very good relationship, which I'm very grateful for. And I'm really happy for him to get this chance tomorrow night.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and it is going to be a fascinating matchup, old school and new school. Kelvin Sampson and Todd Golden. Houston against Florida, the voice of the Gators, Sean Kelley with us. It's great to talk to you again. Have a great call tomorrow, and good luck to the Gators.
Tom, thanks for thinking of me today, and I wish all my friends and family back in St. Louis the best, and I'll be certainly ready to talk to you, hopefully, about a national championship in the coming days.
Love to do it. There he is, the voice of the Florida Gators, Sean Kelley. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more on the St. Louis Blues, Sean's favorite hockey team. They've won 12 in a row. Coach Jim Montgomery, hear what he said next.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Clint Black in concert. Clint Black, an incredible night featuring some of his greatest hits. Saturday, April 12th, 7 p.m., the Family Arena. Clint Black in concert. Special guests Ruby Lee and Emily Ann Roberts. On sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Don't miss Clint Black.
It's the greatest pop rock of the 60s and 70s. The Happy Together Tour 2025 with the Turtles, Jay and the Americans, Little Anthony, Gary Puckett and the Union Gap, the Vogues, and the Cowsills. August 21st, the Family Arena. Reserve seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.
Spring is here. Time to have your valuable trees inspected by Gamma Tree to enhance the beauty and safety of your trees. I'm Tim Gamma.
I'm Tom Gamma. Don't trust your trees to just anyone. Call the pros at Gamma Tree. Now in our 71st year.
Our talented staff of certified arborists can survey your trees to determine their needs, whether pruning, fertilizing, pest control, or removals at the highest level of professionalism.
Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. Call Gamma Tree today or visit us at gammatree.com.
Your trees deserve the best care.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Community America Credit Union has a new branch in Hazelwood. Join me, Amy Markscores, Special Cardinals alumni, and Fred Bird on April 10th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for the grand opening. There'll be exciting prizes and delicious food. See you there.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. Are you thinking about upgrading your internet in your home? Probably a pretty good decision to do so if maybe you're with the cable company or you're with some of those big companies. i3 Broadband, it's amazing. They provide the home internet at my home. Super fast. They always mirror their upload and download speeds, which is a really big deal. You won't realize how much faster your internet can be. Plus, it's reliable. The customer service is great. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Put your address in at i3broadband.com.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
And here is Blues coach Jim Montgomery. I get asked this a lot. How are the Blues doing this? How have they gotten this hot? How have they won 12 in a row and become a contender in the Stanley Cup playoffs? And my answer is simply Jim Montgomery. He has gotten it done. He has tied it all together, and he has gotten them to play his way. 5-4 win over the Avalanche yesterday at Enterprise Center.
I liked how we protected good ice defensively, and I thought we were very connected offensively. The entire game outside the first 8 minutes, I didn't like our offensive zone play offensively, which I thought didn't allow us to sustain our game in the last 30 minutes.
Sticks, in particular, that team with the speed that they like to play with, you break up a lot of points.
Yeah, I thought our sticks and our angling above them, like the third period, they scored 2 pulled goalies situations. But outside of that, I didn't think we gave them much. And I thought that we had great chances. Like the Bolduc had a great chance, 2 great chances to get his hat trick. And Snuggerud had 2 in a row there, among others.
Jim, a couple of weeks ago, we talked to you about the soft schedule the remaining way. What's it say about your team? 2 wins over Colorado, you did win over Vancouver, some big wins in this stretch.
Yeah, we've lost some really good, important players to our lineup. It means we're good. We're a good hockey team.
Jimmy talked about Snuggerud. Can you describe, just in general, some things that excite you about this young man?
His hockey sense, his awareness on the ice, his compete level. It'd be his hockey sense and his compete level. They're high end.
Those 2, I guess, characteristics impacted how much trust he's been able to earn in the coaching staff pretty early.
A ton. And I'll say that's directly from me. I decide ice time. And it's a ton. It's the same thing with Bolduc. His ice time has increased because his compete on pucks and his ability to make plays has increased. And it's just, players get rewarded when they play well and they play the right way. You play hard, you're going to make up for any mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes in this game. But when you play hard and you compete on pucks, good things happen.
Hockey nerd you are, what does it mean to you to have the longest win streak in Blues history right now?
Well, me personally, not much, but to I guess how proud I am of that group in there to be able to overcome all of the adversity we've had this year. Whether that was self-inflicted by us, doesn't matter. We've overcome it, and just playing the right way and I'm proud of that group for what they've achieved. And, Braden Shen as this captain has endured a lot, and he's really led us out of the abyss.
That is Jim Montgomery, the head coach of the St. Louis Blues, after a 5-4 win over the Avalanche yesterday. I love the question from Jeremy Rutherford about soft schedule, and I love the answer from Jim Montgomery. He said it means we're good. 100%. I've said this forever about the term soft schedule. When you say that someone is playing a soft schedule, it is actually a compliment to that team. What that means is, what you were saying is the St. Louis Blues are better than all of those opponents, that they are a superior hockey team. You'd be correct. The Blues are a very, very good hockey team, and everybody is paying attention right now in the Western Conference. I don't think anybody wants to see the Blues right now. We'll take a break. We'll come back, 11 o'clock news, and then Bernie Miklasz at 11:05 on KMOX.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare, and I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare or you'll pay nothing. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-483-3030. 800-483-3030. 800-483-3030.
Have you been injured in an accident? You need a personal injury law firm that wins. Onder wins. For over 100 years, we've been fighting and winning for St. Louis. $5 billion in negotiated settlements? We've got it. $300 million in verdicts? Done. Voted best law firm by STL Today 2 years in a row. Onder wins all the time. Car accident, trucking accident, workplace injury. No matter the case, let Onder win for you. When the stakes are high, we're the team you can trust. Wondering what your case is worth? Call now for a free consultation. And remember, we don't get paid unless you win. Dial 314 or 618-9-million. That's 9, then all zeros. Or visit onderwins.com today. Onder Law. Winning is what we do.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
At California Psychics, we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats? Well, the joy of early bedtimes. And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Linda Kenyon. A second child has died in Texas from measles. Dr. William Schaffner is an infectious disease expert.
This is profoundly sad because both of those children need not have died.
The latest death was an 8-year-old child who was a member of the same Mennonite religious community, where a 6-year-old died in February. Both were unvaccinated.
I think it is more a misunderstanding about the importance of measles and the effectiveness and safety of vaccination.
17 deaths have been blamed on several days of heavy rains in the Midwest and the South that have caused widespread flooding. Forecaster Frank Pereira.
Parts of Arkansas, southern Missouri, southern Illinois, western Kentucky, and Tennessee. So widespread amounts of 8 to 10 inches with some estimates of over a foot in some of those places.
President Trump's new trade tariffs have rattled the stock market and brought on talk of a recession. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on NBC's Meet the Press disputes that.
There doesn't have to be a recession. Who knows how the market is going to react in a day, in a week. What we are looking at is building the long-term economic fundamentals for prosperity.
Car makers concerned about tariffs now face new concerns brought on by the stalling stock market. WWJ Radio's Jeff Gilbert explains.
Cox Automotive Chief Economist Jonathan Smoke says the market started the year with optimism.
If we do see circumstances turn for the negative, it will be a squandered opportunity as we were poised for continuing growth.
Ford is trying to push the market with a new round of incentives. Other car makers could follow suit. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Detroit.
The impact of President Trump's new trade tariffs are being felt across the country and the world, and protesters yesterday pushed back.
Their tariffs are not only imbecilic, they're illegal, they're unconstitutional, and we're going to turn this around.
Rallies were also held overseas with crowds in Paris, London, and other European capitals.
The policies Trump is following are a threat to the world as we have come to know it.
President Trump returns to Washington, where he's set to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this week. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Dawn Staley and South Carolina are on the cusp of their third NCAA national championship in 4 seasons. The Gamecocks play the number 3 UConn Huskies later today. Staley spoke about the matchup.
The challenge is great. They're playing great basketball. It's beautiful to watch.
This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At 11:03, cloudy and 45 downtown at the Arch. Good morning, I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story this hour, forecasters believe the towns of Eureka and Valley Park can expect major flooding in the next couple of days. The Merrimack River is expected to crest 28 feet in Valley Park and 31 feet in Eureka. Moderate flooding is expected in Burnsville along the Big River and in St. Peters near Darden Creek. Minor flooding could occur in Arnold, Fenton, and Pacific. Here is Pacific Mayor Heather Philly talking about residents still preparing.
Remaining calm, which is a good thing. They're excited that the river is not going to crest as high as it once was thought. And so hopefully they'll be able to remain in their homes, not have to lose utilities, do a little sandbagging, but not have an impact that they once thought they might.
A 16-year-old firefighter is dead after a crash that occurred when he was responding to a water rescue. The Highway Patrol says Chevy Gall was a volunteer and driving his own vehicle when he crashed Friday afternoon on US 50 near Missouri Route 185. The crash report says Gall crossed the center line and hit another vehicle. He was rushed to the hospital but later died. The other driver, a 30-year-old man, was hospitalized with minor injuries. MoDOT has issued a waiver to help support flood relief. It allows trucks to haul heavier than normal loads of rock, sand, and gravel. Drivers can carry up to 10% more than their licensed weight on state roads. Travel under the allowance is only permitted on non-interstate highways. Weather forecast, mostly cloudy this afternoon. A stray shower is possible, a high of 50. Overnight, pretty chilly. Temperatures getting down to around freezing, a low of 30 in some outlying areas, 35 downtown. And tomorrow warming up with sunshine and 58, 53 on Tuesday. Right now, 45 in St. Peters, Florissant, and downtown at the Arch. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
From KMOX Sports, this is the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Now from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Trying to get TNT up on the monitor here in the studio for Islanders and Caps at 11:30. That's because Alex Ovechkin's going for the record. Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal-scoring record of 894 is going to go down here shortly, I think. They're going to give him every chance to score that one. Joining us is Bernie Miklas, and our visit sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Bernie, when I was growing up, I didn't think that record was touchable. Wayne Gretzky's 894. His points total certainly will not be, but the goal scoring is about to go down. It's incredible to think about.
He's an amazing guy because not only is he going to break a record that again a lot of people thought were out of reach, but he's remained like a great goal scorer. Like there's been no decline whatsoever. I mean, this is a guy that's getting way up there in age, and you'd think at some point he would not lose it, but he. Like Gretzky, for example, in his final few years, he didn't score all that many goals relative to his peak years. Mm-hmm. Ovechkin just keeps scoring and scoring and scoring. In fact, he and Gordie Howe are the only two, I think, to have at least 20 goals, like 20 years in a row, 20 seasons in a row, or something like that. So he's a really special player. I would say it's also tougher to score in this era. It really is. The goalies are better. The defensive systems are better. It's more physical. And if you look at it in that way, where it was a lot easier to score at the time when Gretzky played, I think we're looking at the best pure goal scorer in the history of the league. I really do.
That's really well said. And, I was watching Sidney Crosby the other night at Enterprise Center Thursday night against the Blues and just marveling at his ability. Like the things that he does that don't show up in the box score are just amazing. He does just about everything right. And then the next night he scores a hat trick for the Penguins. And you know what? All that said, I don't think it would have mattered against the Blues. They just win. It's almost like no matter what you do, you can't beat them. It's unbelievable what's happening here.
You talk about a transformation. My goodness. The Blues were, I think, 26th out of the 32 teams in points percentage at the time they made the coaching change. And the play has just been phenomenal. I mean, there's a whole new culture. We're seeing the young Blues, Jim Montgomery as a coach has done so many things well, but one of the things is that the youngest Blues have been among the very best players on the team, and they're kind of leading the way in a lot of ways. And they're thriving under him. And then you have Robert Thomas, who's got more points than anybody in the league since the beginning of February. He's playing at an unbelievable level. Kyle has never been better. I mean, they bring up Jimmy Snuggerud, and we were wondering, well, is he going to play a lot? I mean, they have him on the second line, and the kid looks like he's a natural. I mean, it's just like, you got to be kidding me. Now they've just added him. And it's on and on and on and on. I don't, I don't know how much more they could get out of this team, the roster from like top to bottom. I mean, the depth is extraordinary, and the range of ages of the people scoring the goals and doing all the things, that's really impressive as well.
Making a serious push here in the playoff race. Minnesota plays Dallas today. If Minnesota wins, they'll gain 2 on the Blues, but the Blues are 4 points in front of the Wild for that top wild card spot in the Western Conference. Bernie, your takeaways from the Cardinals here this past week, in particular, this series against the Angels turned out to be good in their favor at the end, where they scored runs. Then they scored 9 runs against the Red Sox. That should get you a win. Not when you're giving up 13.
Well, yeah, here's the takeaway. 7 games into the season, and this includes the games that were played by other teams yesterday. I mean, the Cardinals are number 2 in runs per game. Only the Yankees have done more. The Cardinals lead the major leagues in team batting average, and they're second in on base percentage. They're second at slugging. They're second at OPS. They are 5th in home runs. The point being, you really could not, unless you're totally wacko, you could not ask more of this offense than what we've seen so far. In fact, I did this just for Sports Open Line. I went back through history and look, okay, in terms of the Cardinals have scored 51 runs in their first 7 games. Where does that rank in history for the first 7 games of the season? And it ranks 8th in Cardinals history, 51 runs in the first 7 games, 8th. And it's the most they've had in the first 7 games of a season since 2004. Now, on the flip side, since they swept the Twins, They have a 6.87 ERA, and the starting pitching ERA is 7.08. And so I think we know what needs to change and change quickly, right? Especially on a doubleheader day.
That's absolutely right. They've got to figure it out. They've brought Gordon Graceffo in as the 27th man. And Bernie, that's going to be really a theme here is, can these starters go deeper into the game? And, a pitcher like Ryan Fernandez got to figure it out.
That's right. And I said it, right before the start of the season. I was either one of my videos, I think, is primarily where I said it, but I said, but my biggest concern going in, I said, I think the offense is going to be okay. It's obviously a lot better than okay. I said, but I'm concerned about the starting pitching. There's just a lot of questions. And so I think that's still my biggest concern about the team, because if the starting pitching is clicking, then it takes a lot of pressure off the bullpen, and the bullpen's not stressed out. They're not being physically run down, and you'll be able to use them when they're physically at their best. But unless the starting pitching, starts to just kind of, as you said, not only pitch well, pitch solidly, but start going 6 innings, it's going to put a big time stress on the bullpen. So they really need to change this trend, this ASAP. Today's a good day for it.
Absolutely. Bernie, I highly recommend people tune into all of your videos and pay attention to everything that you're doing, including for us on the Gas House Gang, which we have Ollie Marmol every Tuesday now from 12:05 to 12:30. I thought that first show was a lot of fun, and it was just the beginning.
Yeah, it was great. And I know Ollie enjoyed it, and you and Chris Ranji and myself and Ollie have actually heard from fans who saw it and said that was really good. Are you going to do that every week? Yeah, we're going to be doing it every week. And the one thing that I think you should understand about the way we're doing the show, we're going to ask him the tough questions. We're going to put him on the spot. We're going to probe. It's not just like a half an hour of happy talk. It's hey, we're respectful, but we're going to ask the stuff that fans are wondering about. And I said this last week on Sports on the Sunday Morning. The thing about Ollie is he wants that.
Yes, he does.
Wants it. So that makes him pretty unique in terms of managers who they not only can take the heat, they're willing. They're inviting the heat. They're inviting the scrutiny.
100%. And he wants to hear from more fans too. So we will do that on Tuesday at 12:05 on the Gas House Gang. Bernie, thank you as always for these visits, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, and American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning dealer. Have a wonderful day.
I will. A lot of great sports, man. I can't know how I can even get do it all. Battlehawks are playing South Carolina versus UConn, women's national champion. On and on and on. Cardinals doubleheader, Ovi. My head is imploding.
It's sports overload. Going bananas.
Absolutely. You take care, my friend.
See you, buddy. Coming up next, Lutz Fan of Steel, St. Louis City SC. He's at 11:15. John Mozeliak, 11:25. Cardinal Baseball, 11:40. Don't go anywhere. We're at the Stiefel Sports Studio.
Your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball. 104.1 FM. KMOX.
First, a word about Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have the very best is Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They are the premier outdoor company, Chesterfield Fence and Deck. I'm talking about fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, pergolas, retaining walls. You name it, Chesterfield Fence and Deck can help you with it. Go online to chesterfieldfence.com and you can review all of their great products, all of their great people. When you're around since 1968, that'll tell you something. When you put in that much time, decade after decade of customer service and customer satisfaction, you have the right place in Chesterfield Fence and Deck. And yes, they are located in Chesterfield, but they cover the entire St. Louis metropolitan area. They are a phenomenal company. Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mention me, Tom Ackerman. You'll receive 20% off your next outdoor project from Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have the very best.
Gray Bar for electrical parts. But there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. So, I wanted to write a thank you note for every dollar Missouri Lottery players have given to Missouri and education, but that would be 8.4 billion notes. So, to save a little time and a whole lot of paper, here's just one. Dear every single lottery player in Missouri, thank you for helping us give $8.4 billion to Missouri and education. Sorry, my trumpet's in the shop. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
In the 70s, while still putting up Hall of Fame numbers, local baseball legend Jerry Kelly decided to do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
And our area's never been the same. This year, the company Jerry started decided we'd do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating, Air, and Electrical.
So from now on, when you need an electrical solution or fix at your home, get it done fast, good, by a Hall of Fame company that's got it going on.
JerryKelly.com.
This month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight is testicular cancer. Dr. Woodson Smelser.
Testis cancer is a disease primarily of men 18 to 45. And so for men in that age segment, we recommend doing just a monthly testicular self-exam. And you can do this in the shower and just basically feel for any abnormal lumps or bumps on the surface of the testicle. And then, of course, if you find something like that, that's when you need to contact your doctor and get further workup.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wstl.edu.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Cardinal baseball coming your way in 20 minutes. I'll have pregame at 11:40. Joining us right now, St. Louis City SC's sporting director, Lutz Pfannenstiel, after a 2-0 loss to Sporting KC last night. Lutz, good morning. We're a little tighter on time because of the Cardinals doubleheader coming up here, so we appreciate you making some time for us. How are you?
Could be better, Tom. I'm glad it's a bit shorter today.
Yeah, I hear you. Just your overview of that game yesterday. My quick overview myself would be I thought you dominated a good portion of the game, and then once they scored to make it 1-0, just weren't able to get that offense again.
Yeah, thanks for looking at it that positive. I think you're not wrong there. I think we created enough chances to win the game, but also put in consideration that Kansas is at the moment one of the worst teams in the league. That's just a look at the table tells us that. I think going into a derby game, I think you need to be a little bit more tougher when it comes to the mindset and need to work a little bit harder to get out there and actually take on the fight. Definitely very disappointing. And as you said, if you don't score, we created the chances, we missed it, we hit the post, we hit whatever. And then they scoring was one of their first chances. Then I think after that, the heads went down. We didn't really recover from that, and not good enough. We need to get better, and we really need to work hard this week on the training field because the games are coming up. We're not playing anymore against Sporting. We're playing against the two of the best teams in the country in the next 2 weeks. And if you play like that, then that I'm not very positive. So we really need to change. We need to change our mindset. We need to change our aggression, and we need to be up for it. Otherwise, they will eat us.
I wholeheartedly agree. And you're playing Columbus on Sunday. I'll be there for that one. I'm looking forward to being back. Look, there are no excuses at this level. I mean, you're playing some of the best of the best, but I do want to ask you what you're dealing with right now injury-wise, and how much is that affecting you?
Well, that's something which is always tough, and I mean, that's something the coaching staff and I have to deal with. It always sounds like the lamest of the lamest excuses if you talk about injuries, because it sounds like you're trying to make up for something else. But the fact is that we have now 6 of our 11 starting players missing out with injuries. 3 of our absolute top players with Roman Bürki, Edu Löwen, and now also Joachim Nielsen. So it's just it doesn't make it easier. But that's time for the youngsters, for the other players to step up. And I do understand the frustration of the fans, Tom. They traveled yesterday for 4 or 5 hours in pouring rain up to Kansas, and then they have to watch what happened. So apologies from my side. I think also an apology from the players. We have to be better than that. It's not good enough, and hopefully we can get the fans in a better mood again next weekend. But yeah, the injuries are there. We have to deal with it. If I would be a healer, I would touch them and they would be fit again next week. But unfortunately, that's not the case, and we have to deal with that, what we have.
The passion and determination of Lutz Pfannenstiel and St. Louis City SC with a week of work to try to put on a show Sunday night against the Columbus Crew. We, of course, will be having that game on Y98 FM. Lutz, thank you, as always, for spending this time with us on KMOX.
Thanks, Tom.
Lutz Pfannenstiel, sporting director for City, jumping in on the show. We really appreciate it. When we come back, the leader on the baseball side, John Mozeliak, president of baseball operations in Boston with the club. They're ready to play 2 today. We'll catch up with Mo right after this on KMOX's Sports on a Sunday Morning from the Stifel Sports Studio.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Chuck McDowell here again. Over the years, I've seen way too many timeshare exit companies pop up, take folks' money, and disappear. I just saw an ad from an exit company started by a couple of bozos that used to work for me. My advice, don't hire bozos I fire. Want out of your timeshare? I'll send you our free timeshare exit info kit explaining your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free kit. 800-843-1313. 800-843-1313.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
KMOX Weekend at your service, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare, and I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare or you'll pay nothing. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-483-3030. 800-483-3030. 800-483-3030.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare, and I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare or you'll pay nothing. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-483-3030. 800-483-3030. 800-483-3030.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. Now, that's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. Now, here's the best part. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Not happy? They'll come back between visits to make it right. Don't wait. Head to truegreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
11:26. We are 14 minutes away from network pregame. I'll have that at 11:40. Cardinals and Red Sox. We're playing 2 today. 6:10 is the start time tonight. 12:35 for the day game from Fenway Park, where we find Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak. As always, thank you for making time for us on Sports on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, good morning. Happy to. That way I can step out of the rain. But I am told we will have baseball. So, and hopefully we're on time, because right now it is starting to lighten up, and that's good news.
Yeah, looking at it right now, my app says cloudy. You got some raindrops lightening up, so that's good. Yesterday was a bit of a slog to get through there. I understand, though, that you, during this trip, were able to sign the monster. Is that true?
That is true. Yeah, I've been here, so many times. I've never done it, and I imagine this may be my last one in this role. So, yeah, I did walk out there, climbed a little bit, and threw up my name. So, yeah, it's kind of fun.
Got some memories of that ballpark. I mean, obviously it didn't end up great for the Cardinals in 04 or 13.
Yeah, did you really have to bring those up?
I was there. I do have some good memories from 13, though. I know it didn't end well, but I just remember being treated well. I remember Rosie's save in Game 2. Some battles with the Red Sox through the years do remind me of how good those teams were. 13 was good. 04, to me, is a top 5 Cardinals team of all time, I think.
Yeah, I think that was a juggernaut of a baseball club. I mean, obviously, when you have Pujols, Roland, Edmonds in the middle of your lineup, you're going to score runs, and that team did. And in 04, unfortunately, just from a pitching standpoint, we ran out of gas. The pressure of the postseason that year was intense. Obviously, an epic series with Houston. But then to come here to Boston, and we had a lead in that first game, and then gave it up, and they never looked back. And obviously they were arguably a team of destiny, down 0-3 to the Yankees, and then came back and won that series to then face us. So that was a tough one for sure. And then 13, you look at that kind of run between 2011, 2012, 2013. Those are really good teams. And, when you think back to just the opportunity to compete for a World Series, in that time period, any one of those clubs could have won a World Series. And in 2011, we did. 2012, we came up short. 2013, we came up short. But, those were some pretty dynamic years for the Cardinals.
Sure were. That 06 title felt pretty good after what happened in 04 and 05. And as you mentioned, 11 and beyond. John Mozeliak is with us. You look at this team, and I know the steps are being made to get back to what you used to be, a contender for a world championship. So far, so good from the offensive side. My gosh. I mean, these, aside from a couple of guys who are going to turn it around, Contreras, et cetera, they are just crushing the ball right now. Do you attribute all of this to Brant Brown? How do you see this offense resurgence?
I think it's a couple things. I do think Brownie's voice has been a big help for our players, but I also feel like when you think back to some of our players, arguably we may have pushed them a little faster than we should have. I think now they're kind of really where they belong, in the sense of they're ready for this challenge. And that's one of the things that I thought about this team when we were trying to put it together. It was really time to just give these guys some runway to see what they can do. Now, it's a small sample size of where we are right now as far as just, a week into the season, but it's just encouraging just to see the energy and the way these guys are going about it. And, I think the one thing that's been fun to watch is like we're competing. We're in games. Even if we lose, we're in it. And that's a really positive sign. And from an offensive standpoint, I think a lot of guys are swinging the bat well. I think from a confidence standpoint, they feel pretty good about where they are. And that's a good thing.
And then, of course, every team wants both going at the same time. It's not easy to do, as we know. And on the pitching side, how do you evaluate things right now, starting with your starters, and then kind of, if you would, kind of transition that thought into your bullpen and what they've had to handle?
A couple things. From a starting standpoint, obviously, you want to go as deep as you can into a game if possible. Good news is, guys, they're pulling the tarp as we speak. And then with regard to our bullpen, I feel like, I like it. I really do like our bullpen, but there is some things that we're just trying to work through. And I think some of these younger guys are just trying to figure out some things on their own as we go. But overall, I do think it's going to be a strength for the Cardinals.
I see that Graceffo is the 27th man for this doubleheader. Graceffo was right there towards the end, wasn't he? Vying for a place in that bullpen.
He was. And as much as we're battling weather, obviously Memphis has had their own challenges as well. And so I guess we were just sort of fortunate that they got washed out because Graceffo's start was yesterday, or scheduled start. So gives us a little protection for these couple games, and hopefully he can take advantage of it. One more quick thing, if you wouldn't mind, before we go to pregame here. Nolan Gorman, any update on his hamstring? Have we seen any improvement? It's been really hard to test anything here, obviously because of the weather. But I think he's going to head back to St. Louis either tonight or first thing in the morning, and be able to push that a little bit further. But it's pretty mild. It really came down to just given the conditions that we were dealing with weather-wise, and also the fact that it's early and we just didn't want to push this and make it worse. So I'm not overly concerned that this is going to be a long issue for us, but hopefully by the time the 10 days are up, he's ready to go. Appreciate that update and the weather updates. I mean, it's a full service conversation here with John Mozeliak. Look, it's the first time I've seen the infield since Friday, so this is great. Have a good day. We appreciate it. All right, thanks, Tommy. There's John Mozeliak, Cardinals president of baseball operations, live from Fenway Park as the Cardinals are set to play too. So here's what we have for you today. It is a split doubleheader. So, and I knew that was going to happen. ESPN's got the game tonight. They don't want to, risk not starting it on time. So you don't have the back-to-back. You're going to have the split. So today, 12:35 first pitch, 11:40 pregame. I'll have that coming up here in about 6 minutes. And then we will have the game for you. It's going to be Andre Palante starting today for the Cardinals, and I'll have Ollie Marmol give you the lineup here during our pregame show. I don't want to steal his thunder. Let's let the manager do that from Fenway Park here in just about 10 minutes or so in our second segment of pregame. Then when that game is complete, we will do our postgame show, and we'll come back to you at 5:15 for our pregame of Game 2. And Scott Warman is going to be part of that broadcast. Now, Scotty's also on the TV side today, you may notice. So we're going to get him from Ballpark Village over to our posh KMOX studios here and have him take over at that point. If, of course, that first game runs long, I'll be right here holding down the fort. Don't you worry about that, Scotty. So you just take your time making your way down here for Game 2. But Scott will take you the rest of the way tonight. So get ready. It's a long day of baseball. And you know what? I've missed baseball. We haven't had it since Friday, and we didn't have a game on Thursday. So, the great thing about baseball, aside from, I don't want to put one sport over the other. People ask me that a lot. I love all sports. I played basketball maybe the longest. I loved baseball, football, playing all the sports. Baseball, you know what's great about it? Every day. You get it every day. And it's next on KMOX.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-57